Oh, hey, it's working. All right. I think this is really laggy, isn't it? I can't tell. Anyway, this is just me trying to do a live stream to see how it works out, if anybody likes it. But my computer is dying, so I don't know if it's even going to work. And I'm going to watch it after, because I can't tell right now, and then delete it if necessary, and cry. All right, so I wanted to talk about the cognitive functions as one word. Just one simple condensed word, and I know there are a lot of different ones that people use, like Linda Barron's and stuff like that. But I wanted to put it into kind of a gaming frame, as always. So starting out, we're going to look at the bottom half of this, the window that you can see on my Evernote notes. So we have SE as engage. I really looked into the different definitions to see if that would help me find like the clearest wording. So if you disagree, if you have another one, please let me know. But we have engage, so with no object, means to participate or become involved in. I mean, we know what that means, right? And with an object, to occupy, attract, or involve someone's interest or attention. I felt that this was a really clear, crisp way of understanding SE. And let's just keep going. This is really weird, talking to myself, not in a video, but live. And also SI, recall. So to bring back a fact, event, or a situation into one's mind, and especially so as to recount it to others to remember. So we had engage, SE is like jumping in there and embracing the tangible, real moment. And then SI as recalling the facts from that library of information that you have, and the data and facts attached to it. So I think those work really well. And remembering, I know it's not memory as such, but it works pretty well. And then NE, brainstorming, to produce an idea or way of solving a problem by holding a spontaneous group discussion. I thought that was hilarious. I didn't realize brainstorming meant a group discussion. It's kind of weird, because I feel like I brainstorm all the time, and you know, the NE like brain pattern is pinging all these different areas, and I thought that kind of worked. Like, you can imagine it as there are a bunch of different people in your brain that you're having a conversation with, discussing to try to produce an idea. And then NI, to realize, become fully aware of something as a fact, understand clearly. And I thought another interesting definition was to give actual or physical form to. You know, we're realizing the results of this product or whatever, which would connect more towards extroverted sensing. So I don't know, that got me thinking, but I didn't want to think too much about it. I just wanted to pick good words for me to use here. And then to manage. So this is getting into the judging functions. TE, manage, to succeed in doing something, achieving or producing something. And to take charge, to take charge or take care of, or to control the use or exploitation of a resource. I thought that was the key one. Like, TE is managing resources. And it's taking charge of it. It's looking out there, trying to see what needs to be managed, what needs to be controlled in a logical way. And a lot of the times, TE is focused on achieving those goals, whatever they set. And then TI, to reason, to think, understand, or form judgments by a process of logic. Fit pretty well. I was also thinking of analyze, analyze frameworks and things like that. But I wanted to keep all the introverted functions with R, like an R word. I don't know why, it's just what I wanted to do. And that's what happened. But I think reason, to reason through something is to think about it logically and try to piece together the bits and pieces. So also after that, to harmonize. Hey, somebody's talking and I can't see it. That's so weird. With F-I. You mean like the elemental ones? Evan. Anyway, sorry, I'll look for your response. T-I to reason, okay, F-E to harmonize, to make consistent, and it's more like towards harmony. And this is the same definition that Personality Hacker used. I thought that was really good. 1 second. The quality of forming a pleasing or consistent whole, agreement. That's FE wants everybody to be, in touch with each other's needs and doing the right thing in a social aspect. Yeah, oh man, about FI though, like it says I have bad video settings. I don't know what to do about that. As an element, I don't know. Like the judging functions just don't feel like elements to me, but I have thought of it as light. And a lot of the issues with FI dominance, like INFPs and stuff, I think is by hoarding their light and not sharing it with other people, like kind of keeping it closed in, and eventually they don't realize that they are emanating that light that can guide themselves and guide other people towards good decisions. So like if I had to just pick one right now, I would say it's light. But back to what I was talking about, which is also FI, to reflect. Similar to light, related to that. To throw back without absorbing, or to embody or represent something in a faithful or appropriate way. To think deeply or carefully about something. So reflect with sadness, reflect with joy, whatever it is. I thought that fit pretty well. I don't like the idea that reflecting is, I don't know how to word this, like sitting down and be like, I'm going to reflect over this, right? I'm thinking more of it projecting what's inside and the identity of somebody or something. So when you meet somebody with FI, you're trying to see where they're coming from and reflect that back to them and kind of match them. That's my goal anyway. So you have these different one-word approaches, and then I was thinking about it in terms of approaches. If you know the Fate RPG system, it's pretty cool. It uses I think it's just for the abridged version, but it uses approaches instead of like dexterity and strength and stuff like that. It's like I'm going to approach it in this manner. And I thought the judging functions really, especially in the elemental frame that we were just talking about, Evan, is connected to those approaches. Like, how do I want to use this? And so the skill rankings, like within your cognitive function stack, I thought it worked out pretty well. So the dominant function is confidently or heroically. Of course, that doesn't mean you're always confident, but yeah, like you have a confidence within using that function. Like I know I can use FI, and in ENFJ or whatever knows how to handle the social situations and to build harmony in a heroic or confident manner, I think, usually. And then, so the second one would be like a +3. So like you got dice, right? Like you have a high chance with +4 to succeed. You have a high chance with +3 to succeed as well. And this is capably or supportably. This is the auxiliary function. So for myself, actually, let's just run through all of these and then I'll talk about different types. So you have next +2 for the tertiary function, kind of awkwardly or defensively. And what I mean by defensively is in terms of protecting your worldview. So if you're an introvert, then the tertiary function is defensive in the sense that it wants to keep you in that world, wants to keep your introverted side comfortable. If you're an extrovert, it keeps you dealing with the extroverted world instead of, going back into the introverted side. And so you have awkwardly and defensively, yeah? At least for me, awkwardly. It works out pretty well, and defensively too. Next, somehow or surprisingly. These are just generic ones for the fourth function. Like, I somehow managed to do this. I strugglingly did okay with this. If you wanted to break it down even more, inferior would be inadequately, or crudely, or incompetently, or insufficiently. Those all seem to work pretty well with my experiences of TE. And then aspirational, aspiringly, ambitiously, cravingly, longingly. You just have this desire to complete it and to finish it. So for the INFP, for example, you would have +4 to reflect in terms of embody or represent something in a faithful or appropriate way. So I confidently and heroically feel that I do that. Yeah? Thanks, Raphael. It's weird. I have to flip. My computer's going to explode. So I have it all rigged up that I can't quite see the screen. But yeah, I can flip back and forth. Okay, so I feel like I reflect my own desires, my authenticity, heroically, confidently, and I can reflect other people's emotional states as well. And then +3, capably or supportively, and brainstorm. So I feel that I capably can brainstorm. I use brainstorming to support other people when I try to give them advice. So I think that works out really well too. I got an idea. If I move this over here, there we go. That's such a simple fix. Okay, and then supportively. Okay, hold up. I crave positive emotional expression from the audience during presentations. What type are you? Just curious. By the way, making videos is really weird. It's so awkward. And this is why I want to have these live streams. I think they're a little bit better. At least for me. I'll still fumble over my words and stuff, but I'm a teacher as well, and I really vibe well with other people, especially a lot of people. It's kind of strange. Like one-on-one kind of makes me nervous sometimes, but I used to do speeches in front of 300 to 600 people in Japanese, and it broke me out of my shell for sure. You're an INTP? Yeah, I could see that. You have that deep down longing for harmony and for people to kind of respond and express their emotions. Sure. Hey, what's up, Winston? How you doing? Also, one more thing. This is still unrelated to what I was talking about, and that's cool. I'm all right with ranting. Is that I think the community that you guys are making is really cool. All the talking and working together to figure out these problems, I think is awesome. And I think it's what needs to happen, as the next step. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So what was I saying? Awkwardly, defensively, for an INFP, and introverted sensing. Whew. Yeah. I have an awful memory, so this is definitely an awkward thing. Recalling information, it always gets like tainted in some way, and also it's defensively too. Like when I want to stay in FI mode and do something the way I want to do it, without regard for other people, in a sense that I want to maintain my own kind of uniqueness and stick to my likes and dislikes, then yeah, like my SI comes in there and is recalling all this information, be like, yeah, you don't want to do that because last time bad things happened. You remember that. It's just kind of like poking me in the side, reminding me of it. You're an ISTP? That's cool. I know one ISTP, and I realized it recently that he was an ISTP. We were at a party, and he was like, we were talking about, oh yeah, he wants to become a professional darts player. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And as he was explaining, he was like posturing himself like perfectly to like reenact it. And I was like, oh man, this guy's got like real knowledge of how his body needs to work within the like technical framework of it. It's pretty cool. And also he rides motorcycles. And I was like, okay, you're just kind of filling in those stereotypes right there. And that was when I was doing the Wolverine ISTP video. And Wolverine rides motorcycles too. So, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Yeah, defensively. Okay, what was I talking about? And then somehow, strugglingly, the fourth function. You know, I don't like thinking of it as having like negative intent and being a crappy function. It just struggles. It somehow wants to accomplish this goal, and so I thought that fit pretty well. And for TE, yeah, I somehow manage my resources. I struggle to manage time and money, so I thought that fit pretty well. What other ones can we look at? Are these working for you guys? Like, does this make sense? And is the stream quality okay? I have to do it on this old crappy MacBook, and I'm using OBS, like the Open Broadcast server, and it's just like, it's messed up. I tried to do my iPhone earlier and set it up normally like I would actually film a video, but I couldn't see the screen. If I turned it around, I could, but then I wouldn't be able to have all these, like, over here. Yeah. All that stuff up. I drew where did it go? Oh, yeah. Like this. Like, I wrote them all out, but then if I was going to flip the camera, it would be backwards, and that's just goofy. It is what it is. I think I'm talking to myself now. That's okay, though. But if you wanted to look at the fourth function in terms of inferior or aspirational, I, as an INFP, inadequately and crudely manage resources and control and exploit them as well. Oh, thanks. Thanks, all three of you. Kaylin B, and Evan, and Vivek. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad it works. It was like, I've been trying to do this, elemental framework and working really hard on different parts and integrating the parts and having this kind of 4-member questing model. But then I'm also working on Enneagram and this one person model to like tie it to RPGs and stuff. It's just all over the place. And yes, the Evernote, man, I have like 300 notes. It's pretty ridiculous. I had a paper notebook, and I pretty much filled it out right away. And then I was like, but I can't search through it. Like, I can't find everything that I wanted to. So I went back to Evernote, and now it's just like, just information everywhere. And I don't tag things. So that's a problem. But I can still search for it. Thanks for the compliments about the videos. Trying to improve all the time. So yeah, it's awkward, and it does cause some anxiety, to be honest. But what are you gonna do? I think it's the right thing to do. Like, I gotta push myself to do it. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear the garbage truck outside? But let's see. I related to Wolverine's video with Effie. I know I can use it. But... oh man, yeah. Like, well, just awareness of the fourth function is the biggest thing, and the more you're aware of it, the more you'll find ways to just kind of like slide it in interactions every once in a while, or just kind of fit it into your life. I really don't think it's good to like force it, like I'm gonna force myself to do my inferior function, but just being aware of it and sometimes trying it, I think it's pretty good. On socionics, I need to learn more about it. It was the same with Enneagram. Like, I learned MBTI first and still am. And then learning a new system, like socionics has a lot in common, but it's not 100% the same. And so trying to like fit those ideas into the same container just ruins the understanding of socionics for me. I do think, especially like SE and SI, I think the way that socionics explains them is a lot better. And I haven't put that much time into it, but like SE is more about like controlling the environment, in not like a TE sense, but kind of, I want to say like an animalistic, is that a word? Animalistic way of interacting with it. And then SI is more like the comfort function. That's how it definitely works for me too. As my, I guess, seventh function, if you want to call it that, SE. Like, when that comes out as like the trickster archetype, I don't know if I'm just going on a rant, but when that comes out, it's like, it feels very like I need to control the area around me and protect myself. Anyway. Oh yeah. Sorry, I just saw your comment, Raphael, about NI heroically. Yeah, see, I don't know if it's because for me, my judging function is first. So I feel like I use it heroically, kind of intentionally, whereas like the irrational functions, like the perceiving functions, would be maybe not. But I think the skill and the ability to trust what comes out of your NI insights could possibly be closer to that heroic style. I don't know. I mean, you would have to tell me. Let's see. Yeah, Kaylin, like owning the environment. I think SE in socionics especially has that connection. And I have a lot of issues with like my bubble space. Like, this is gonna sound like I have all these problems, but I live in Tokyo, and so people just constantly bump into people and don't feel any way about it, and that like it irks me in a way that I think triggers my inability to reference the physical environment properly and to engage in that. So. And my question was, if the functions are related to brain regions, why they have to be in specific order, as in TI? You mean within like the cognitive function stack? Sorry, I don't fully understand. I'm not sure. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. In terms of like the neuroscience behind it, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm just reading and saying stuff that I feel can be helpful. But he said, I mean, Dario Nardi saw that in his research, there's your dominant function has this brain style, this pattern, and then this other one kind of gets into the mix, and it works. Like a lot of like INFPs will have the extroverted intuition kind of Christmas tree style. I don't know necessarily why in terms of a brain style that's how it works. I should bring him on. Contact Dario Nardi. Is the definition about functions? Like I said, I'm not too knowledgeable about socionics, but a lot of the definitions are similar, but they're not the same by any means. But I thought one thing that was really cool about socionics was that there's a lot more research about how to technically understand what the functions are doing, and like the different words that they use and all this other stuff, that for my style, like I do really want to have this technical understanding and this technical framework to work with. And so socionics does kind of tickle that spot for me. But it's just not, I can't spread myself any thinner. Having the judging functions as auxiliary. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, in terms of the psyche and Jung's style, it makes a lot of sense for me. You know, you need to have the judging function, you need to have the perceiving function, and one needs to be introverted, one needs to be extroverted. But like in terms of the brain wiring, I mean, I guess it could be a similar thing where it's just trying to cover up for deficiencies by finding, you know, different ways to access information. I don't know. Kaylin, I forget, what's your type? Or what type do you identify with? I didn't have any issues with that until I did. And I remember it specifically. I was at a club in Kyoto and at this reggae event, and this guy kept bumping into me. And like I remember staring at him and being like, oh my God, this guy is driving me crazy. And then from then on, it was just kind of a thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't like necessarily relating everything to personality type, but when I can find the connections, I do like playing with them anyway. Just kind of being like, yeah, this could be why. Just taking it with a grain of salt, I guess. What do you mean about the introverted functions can't be developed? I think everything can, as long as you put in that energy and effort into awareness. Sorry, I gotta drink water. It's a massive cup, yeah? INFJ. I don't know. You could talk to, I mean, we got a lot of NJs, INJs especially in this community, so other people might have similar experiences with it. I don't know. I'm kind of just ranting and bouncing around right now. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, we can. I think the video is delayed too, so that makes things even more awkward. I think next time I'm just going to do it on my iPhone and have it flipped and see what happens. Is this something you all want? Do you want me to do more live streams? Like, I definitely enjoy bouncing back and forth ideas and kind of just talking about stuff instead of me trying to put on like my professional suit and stand here and feel really awkward. I was gonna say I don't know if it looks awkward, but I'm sure it does. Let's see. Oh. How good are you at holding a detailed mental image, like sensory details, intact for like 10 seconds? Dude, I can't remember anybody's face for anything. Like my own face, yeah, I can remember that because I've seen it enough. But like specific little details about anybody else or anything that's going on, I can't. Except for some occasional, like unique or different experiences. Like my first time coming to Japan, like I remember a lot of details for the first several months of that. And then going back home, I go back home every like 3 years, and things, I can remember a lot of details from that, but normal everyday life, I don't. And I think it's because I spend so much time in the clouds and in my head, just like thinking about whatever I'm thinking about. I get lost constantly. It's awful. If I didn't have GPS, I wouldn't know like where to go, how to get home. It'd be ridiculous. If you don't mind me asking, why did you move to Tokyo? I've lived in Japan for about 11 years now. So that's a long time. With a couple years back and forth and one in Korea as well. And the first time, like the reason I came here was just because I wanted to leave Michigan. I wanted adventure. I wanted things to change. And I wanted to challenge myself a bit more. And I almost didn't do it because I had backed out from going to Spain before that because it was just too scary. I didn't know any Japanese. I didn't know anything about Japan, besides a couple like horror movies that I saw. And I just signed up with a friend and we tried it. And then I made some really good friends and connections here, and things worked out. And I came back for a couple different internships and stuff. And then I was living in Nagoya, which is not Tokyo. And after that big earthquake in 2011, I was like, now's the time to go to Tokyo because all the foreigners are leaving and I have more chances for work. And my parents didn't like that, but that's what happened. I like Tokyo. It's pretty cool. It's a lot different, being married in Tokyo and having a house like kind of on the outskirts than living like in downtown Shinjuku or like Shibuya and just going out all the time and having no money because you spend it all. But like I'm in a nice area right now. It's pretty cool. Anyway, what was I saying? Enneagram is 3-wing 4. Does that fit with ISTP? Ooh, that's something I gotta think about. Like Enneagram is still something I'm working on. Let's see. Yeah, I'm honestly sorry, Winston, but I'm not going to say anything about it right now because I don't want to just complicate things and confuse myself or you. I would have to sit down and see that list of the different, like the passion and the virtue and all these other things, and then try to piece it together, which is maybe something I can do if I get some time to do it. I'll look into it. I've done with other. Cool. As a tree, things grow and develop on a specific session, just like function. Yeah. Things just kind of appear. Functions. You'll become aware of it when it's time to become aware of it. If you're really allowing yourself to be aware of it. Like if you're just fighting it, if you're thinking that I hate this function, I hate this side of myself, and you try to repress it and beat it down, then it's not going to serve you. And so finding that positive intention of all the functions, I think is key. Trying to figure out if I'm an INFP or ISTP. Could you explain the differences, similarities? Oh, thanks. Well, yeah. So INFP and ISTJ. The dominant function for both of those, I don't know how much you know, so like I don't know kind of what level of language I can use here, but starting out, NF and ST are pretty different. NF is about combining ideas and imagination with people related things. It's like putting the spirit and the heart together to act on things. And then ST is more like combining the real world with the mind, like the body and the mind. It's more practical, doesn't float off into space all the time. Like, it's a lot more grounded. So I don't know if that helps to start out. Okay, yeah, like learning the cognitive functions is a difficult task. There's a lot to get into, but that is where you're going to find the most growth and the most understanding. Because like I've met people who are a clear, let's say ENFJ, and they won't think they are because they read the descriptions online and it doesn't quite fit, right? But if you understand how the cognitive functions, at least what the cognitive functions are, then you really start to see those pieces more clearly. And then from there, it's like the dynamics of working with them and stuff. But I don't know how much more I should explain about this. INFPs are like, I'm going to be myself. I have this spectrum of like to dislike, and it takes a lot to change that. So I'm going to make decisions based on that, and it's going to be slow. And then in order to support that, it's brainstorming new ideas. And then the ISTJ is more like, I'm going to rely on my past experiences to inform what is happening right now, and to build stability in my life, and to try to shape the world to myself. So you'll have things that you just trust in a sensory way, things that make sense to you as well. And then you're going to take action. Your decision-making style is extroverted thinking, which is more about putting things into place and contingencies and going from step A to B to C. Can you hear that airplane? It's pretty sweet. But if I closed my window, then my MacBook would explode. Are there any shadow functions you feel like you can use fairly well? I'm kind of under the idea that, for example, what you said, you're an INFJ, right? You are pretty good at both forms of feeling and both forms of intuiting. You just prefer one over the other. So, like, NI just makes more sense to you. And then there's this kind of like, well, so why would I use NE? But you're still good at it. It's just like, I prefer to do it this way. And same with the feeling side as well. Like, it makes more sense to act in accordance to, what is socially expected than to do things in your own style in terms of like based on your personal preferences. I hope that makes sense. So like for me, I feel that I can use both pretty well. So I'm more skilled at those, and then like both sensing and both thinking are crap. So yeah, I kind of rounded down. Yeah, Toby, just just keep thinking about it. Like, don't put any pressure on yourself really to like figure it out. Like, I need to know what my type is, but just kind of keep those in mind and figure out which ones come up more often and in what way they come up more often. Are they in a healthy way, or is it in a less healthy way that just comes out when you're stressed out? Do we have any tips to balance emotions for FI? Spend a lot of time thinking and feeling your emotions and really just digging in, like, why is this way? Why am I feeling this way right now? And this isn't necessarily like just an FI thing. This is for everybody. Understand why you feel certain ways about certain things. If you wake up and you're, not in a great mood, there's a reason for that. And so kind of understanding the different states, mental states and emotional states that influence that, I think is just super important. And it just takes reflecting and just stopping and be like, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I acting like this? Has this happened to me in my past? Is this serving me right now? Is it not? And kind of also appreciating the emotions, which sounds weird, but like wrapping the emotions in other emotions, kind of meta emotions, which I don't think I can really get too much into right now. But like, if you're feeling angry about something, you should find a way to feel grateful that you are feeling angry, because that anger is stemming from something that is not going well in your life. It's pushing you to try to do something, right? And by just being angry, it's not really that helpful. But by feeling good about that anger and using that anger in a properly focused way, I think it can help a lot. Used to wonder between INFJ and ISFJ before you started studying functions. Yeah, I mean, that happens to a lot of people. It makes sense. Like, they sound similar in a lot of ways. All the functions do in a lot of ways. And it's just spending the time digging into it and really dig it into yourself too. I've only tested, I've taken the MBTI like maybe 3 times in my past, and I only tested out as INFP, and I don't know why. It's kind of bugged me every once in a while. I'm like, well, everybody else tests out as all these other ones. I kind of want to. I want to see, I want to, maybe like I'm not an INFP, and I've just attached myself to it. I don't think so. I really do think I'm an INFP. But another thing about, I think INFPs is also just, they always feel that they could, anything's possible. And they don't want to put anybody in a certain container or label. So even myself, I'm like, well, maybe I could be. But I think what's confused me the most is the Enneagram stuff. Like the INFP 9 in the Enneagram explained a lot to me. It showed me a lot. It's like, that's why I don't fully vibe with that standard INFP style. It's because I want to, maintain the harmony around, which is weird coming from an FI perspective. But my brother is an INFP 4. There's a lot of difference in there. Like, you ask anybody, and they're like, you're not the same type. But I can see it. Let's see. Oh, scrolling stuffs. Agreeing, because I definitely have some FI development. Yeah. The SE and TE thing as well. Like, that's why every once in a while I was like, could I be an INFJ? And this is SE coming out that's trying to like take control of the environment, or is it TE that's trying to take control of the environment? Like TE, I think is defined differently in socionics, but I don't know too much about it. I should actually probably stop this stream pretty soon. I gotta eat and get ready for work. Yeah, and do some editing for one of the patron videos. ENFP 5 wing 6, and this is so weird. You mean this as in life, or? My INFP friend is a 7, all the way. And that fits pretty well. Oh yeah? Man, you'll have to teach me about socionics, because like I've researched stuff, but it's just, there's so much, and I keep wanting to attach definitions from MBTI and stuff. I should uncross my arms because I look like I'm angry. I'm not. Yeah, you think I'm an INFP? That's good, because I think I am too. It would be weird if I wasn't, though. If it just came out one day like, no, I'm an ISTJ. ISTP, whatever it is. Less controlling and more just understanding the discrete facts. Yeah. I have an ESTJ friend, very good ESTJ friend. But he's also an Enneagram type 8. So there could be the controlling aspect in that as well. I don't know. All right. I do need to stop this. Please, though, let me know, like, is this something you want me to continue? I might be able to do it. I don't know. I was kind of pacing around before this video. Things feel a lot better now that I started it. But I was like, should I really do this? Is it going to be okay? Thanks, Toby. Man, I have so many ideas though. Like, what I really want to do is make an RPG, like a board game, and use all the different Enneagram worlds, and kind of treat it like the TV show Sliders, where they just skip different dimensions and portal into different realms. I think that would be fun. Anyway. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful and informative. You guys, please, and girls, please keep up the communication between y'all, because I think good things can really happen from this community. All right. So thank you very much. Have a good night if it's nighttime where you are. All right. See ya.